It seems to be that a lot of codependents have a hard time feeling, or they've stuffed their feelings for a long, long time based on, childhood or what have you. Any suggestions there on being able to, I guess, get in touch with our feelings again?
Sure. I'm struggling because I have a lot to say about it. And I probably can't fit it all in here. Because you're right. I mean, we've been talking mostly about our thoughts, but our thoughts also create our feelings, which was probably a whole nother conversation, really. But
Well,
I
it'll
mean,
be a good excuse to have you back again.
okay. So anyway, so part of it is, with both our thoughts and our feelings, some of this is really sort of things that have become essentially kind of bad habits for us, right? Is that we have gotten used to not wanting to feel our feelings, trying to numb out, trying to push them away. And so we just keep doing them. And again, this is something that you can think about as having been useful at one point in your life, right? When you're a little kid and you're overwhelmed with feelings, and you don't have a person who's willing to listen, or you don't have the ability to regulate your feelings or even know what to do with them. And you're often getting the messages from the adults in your life that you shouldn't have any feelings, right? You shouldn't be angry. You shouldn't be sad about things. You learn to push them down, and that serves a purpose for you. The problem, of course, is, that those feelings stick around. I mean, the other problem is that we tend to then start numbing and pushing away all of our feelings, even the more positive, enjoyable feelings. But again, I mean, that's sort of, another piece of it. But I say that in part to say, what we want to be able to invite all of those feelings in. And when we talk about feeling our feelings, I don't want people to just think that, oh, now you're going to need to feel all the really difficult feelings, all the unpleasant ones, because that's not, a task that anybody wants to sign up for. But what I want people to remember is it also means you're going to be able to more fully feel the positive feelings, the enjoyable things, the pleasurable things in your life. And that's part of the upside here. The other upside is that you will eventually sort of get to process through, the backlog of the negative feelings and sort of be able to eventually clear those out. So anyway, part of this is to say that you do have a choice also in the way that you feel about things. And here's where I'm just going to backlog a little bit. I'll try to keep it short. Is that, again, so when you think about that, you have a choice in what you think, you also are choosing the feeling that is associated with that. And I'll just try to give you a really quick example here. So let's just say that you are walking around your neighborhood, and you see a neighbor that walking on the other side of the street, and you're waving and saying, oh, hi, and your neighbor just walks on by and ignores you, right? You could choose how you think about that situation. You could choose to think, oh, my neighbor must be mad at me. She totally ignored me, blew me off there, right? Or you could choose to think, oh, she must have been distracted and thinking about something else that was on her mind, and she probably just didn't even hear me. Right? You could think other things too, but we'll just stick with those two, right? And now you can see that depending on which of those thoughts that you chose to have, you might feel very differently about your neighbor, and about that interaction, right? So if you chose the first one, you might go home and be really angry at your neighbor. The other one, you might actually, be concerned, or you might, feel some compassion for her, or be curious about what's going on, right? So you now see that the feeling isn't just happening to you, but you actually have a more active role in having the feelings that you want to have. Right. I mean, these are perceptions, right? We have no idea at this point why your neighbor didn't say hello to you, right? So when you don't know, you don't have to choose, the worst scenario again that is now confirming, oh, she must not like you, Andy, right? That's not the assumption that the thought that you need to choose, right? I mean, that again just keeps you stuck in that pattern of feeling bad about yourself.
Mm-hmm. That is such a good example. And I'm sure so many people can relate to things like that happening in life. And that, again, that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, it must be about me, as opposed to, you have no idea what's going on with her life today. Maybe who knows, right? Something's going on in her life. She's, stressed out about something. Maybe she didn't see you. Maybe she's on a phone call and you can't see her earbud. I mean, who knows, right? It's many, many different things, but that's powerful. So that is, right, confirmation of our power to choose our thinking as well as our feeling from that perspective. So that was awesome. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. This has been awesome as always.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Any last insights? Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
I think we're in a good place. I don't want to take us down another rabbit hole, but yes, I mean, I hope that everybody got a few little takeaways there, and just to really sort of consider that you have more choices in the thoughts that you're having. And it like I was saying, I mean, it does really take a lot of intentional work to pay attention to the thought and then to change it. So I will just say, like, it is clunky at the beginning when you start doing it. And it's hard to do it in the moment of, like having a conversation. Oftentimes in the beginning, it's like you're almost going to find that you're, excuse me, sort of doing it after the fact, saying, oh, I recognize I had the thought, right? And eventually you'll get to the point where the new thought becomes automatic. But at the beginning, it's most likely going to be, oh, I noticed that I did it, so let me see how I could sort of correct it now.